Just chilling here. Ready when you are.
I'm here. I want to talk about understanding the psychology of motivation.
Ah, good choice. It's messy, isn't it? Like everyone's got theories, but actually figuring out what makes people tick is way harder than it. Where should we even start?
First of all, what is motivation from psychological perspective and why does it vary from person to person?
Okay, so from a perspective, motivation isn't just about wanting something. It's the whole process of initiating, directing, and sustaining goal-oriented behaviors. Basically, the why behind what we do. And why the variation? Huge question. It's a mix of things. Partly it's biological. Some people are just wired with different levels of dopamine receptors impacting their reward drive. But then there's a massive chunk that's learned, like your upbringing, past experiences, even cultural norms shape what you find are meaningful. Someone raised achievement will be motivated differently than someone prioritizing community. Plus the whole internal versus external motivation thing. People need a reward. Others just do it because they want to. It's a whole spectrum. Does that make sense at this point?
So, what is the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation and which one of is more powerful?
Right. Intrinsic versus extrinsic class. Intrinsic motivation is doing something purely for the enjoyment or satisfaction it gives you, like painting because you love to paint, not because you're trying to sell the painting. Extrinsic motivation is doing something to get a reward or avoid a punishment, getting a bonus at work, studying to get a good grade, stuff like that. Powerful. It's kind of a trick question. It is generally more sustainable long term. When you genuinely enjoy something, it's easier to keep at it. But honestly, extrinsic can be a really good kickstart. Sometimes you need that external push to get something going. Logically, intrinsic is seen as higher quality, leading to more creativity and distance. But it's not always realistic to rely solely on that, is it? What do you think? Do you find yourself more driven by one over the other? I've noticed with
Sustain
you, it's
motivation.
less. All right, buckle up. It's kind of nerdy. The big player is the dopamine system, obviously. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure, it's about anticipating reward. It's the let's get that chemical. When you anticipate some dopamine spikes driving you to take action, that anticipation is key. The reward itself isn't always as motivating as the expectation of it. Then the prefrontal cortex, which is all about planning and decision making. It weighs the cost, figures out how to achieve your goals, and the amygdala throws in emotional weight, associating feelings with certain actions. Things feel more urgent or important. Sustaining motivation is trickier. It's just one big dopamine rush. It's about repeated dopamine releases, and the habits come in. As you repeat a behavior, the brain strengthens those pathways, making it easier to do again. So about setting achievable goals, breaking things down into smaller steps to get those little dopamine hits along the way. It's a whole feedback loop, really. Does that track? Or am I losing the brain talk?
Internal factors influence someone's motivation level, such as belief or values.
Yeah, absolutely. Belief systems are massive. If you believe something is important, like truly believe it, you're way more likely to be motivated to pursue it. It taps into something deeper than just wanting a reward. For example, someone who values helping others will be motivated to volunteer, even if there's no personal gain. Self-efficacy plays a huge role too, a belief in your own ability to succeed. think you can actually achieve something, you're much more likely to try. Then you've got mindset, growth versus fixed. People with mindset, the abilities can be developed, more motivated to embrace challenges. And honestly, things like personality, are you naturally optimistic or pessimistic, can heavily impact your baseline motivation. All those internal bits create a kind of filter for external stuff. A huge bonus might not move someone if it clashes with their core values. Does that right? Have you noticed your own values impacting what you go after?
How motivations affect a person's ability to stay motivated?
Hmm. Okay, that's a good one. It's a bit circular, right? The type of motivation you initially have drastically impacts staying power. Extrinsic motivation, it's often fickle. The reward appears, the motivation drops. It's like you only clean your room when your mom tells you to. Intrinsic motivation is more resilient. You're doing it because you enjoy it, so it can withstand setbacks and boredom. But even intrinsic motivation isn't foolproof. If your goals are unrealistic or you constantly beat yourself up for not meeting, it'll fizzle out. Self-compassion is huge here. Also, how well your motivation aligns with your values is key. If you're pushing yourself towards something that doesn't genuinely you, even if you're initially driven, you'll likely burn out. Basically, a solid foundation of intrinsic and realistic goals and a healthy dose of self-belief are the ingredients for lasting motivation. You ever feel like you started something strong but then lost steam? What do you think happened in that situation?
What psychological barriers commonly stop people from staying motivated?
Oof, there are a ton. Procrastination is the obvious one. Fear of failure or discomfort, often just needing more time. There's perfectionism, which is basically set so high you can never actually reach it. That's paralyzing. Self-doubt is a big one, constantly questioning your abilities and worth. Learned helplessness, where you've experienced so many failures that you just assume you can't succeed, is tough to overcome. And then there's cognitive dissonance, when your actions don't align with your beliefs, which creates conflict and drains motivation. Sometimes it's plain overwhelm, too many, too little time, leading to shutdown. And don't forget fear of success. It sounds weird, but people can subconsciously sabotage themselves if they're afraid of the changes success might bring. D-mix usually. Rare one thing. Which of those rings true for you, if any? Or something else that usually throws you off course?
What strategies help someone build self discipline when motivation is low?
All right, so motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. When the spark is dim, you need the engine to keep going. First, forget about relying on willpower alone. It's finite. Instead, focus on building systems and habits. Tiny habits, even. Like, I'll write for 5 minutes instead of I'll write a novel. Momentum builds from there. Environment is huge. Remove distractions. Create a dedicated workspace. Make it easy to start. Then there's intentions. If X happens, I will do Y. Like, if I'm finished lunch, I will immediately work on that. That bypasses the decision fatigue. So embrace the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it right now. Small wins build confidence and momentum. And finally, find yourself. Self-criticism is a motivation killer. Treat yourself like you'd treat a friend who's struggling. About consistent effort, not perfection. Have you tried any of those before? Anything work particularly well for you?
Thanks for today and bye for now.
All right, have a good one. Hit me up whenever you're dive